Hello, it's Vablonsky. Today I'm excited because I discovered a new Filipino restaurant. It's not a carinderia or Turo style cafe, one where I see all the options laid out in front of me and point to what I want. Rather, I have to order at a counter, but it doesn't matter. They have items I've never tried before and familiar and favorite items I can try again. It's going to be a rich and enjoyable experience. Join me. Let's go. So this little cafe here in Rockville, Maryland, Filo Cafe, Filo being short for Filipino, it's very much a mom and pop shop, a mom and pop restaurant. The owner here is very nice. So is the staff. They were very accommodating and very friendly as I was ordering and asking questions. So as I get deeper into Filipino cuisine, not only have I tried a diversity of items, but today I'm going to try some things that I've had in prior episodes. And so part of learning a cuisine is also having repeated servings, eating things repeatedly so you understand a dish more thoroughly. And so I'm going to do that today. But this first item is called sweet and sour pompano. Pompano being a fish. And I've never had this before. I've never actually seen this on a Filipino menu. And so it's a pompano fish that's been fried and dressed with a sweet and sour dressing, not dressing, a sauce. So it's a fried pompano fish covered in a sweet and sour sauce. And so, yeah, I'm going to see if I can wedge off a piece to begin. Ooh, it's not the easiest thing. Oh, well, no, it's working, it's working. Okay, I'm going to get my fork out and lift it up onto my serving of rice. Okay, here it is, the pompano. Oh, that's good. Okay, let me try some more of this pompano. Gotta watch out for those bones. Oh my God. It's a lot of little, wow. Ooh, spiky little bones on this pompano. It's a white flesh fish. And, here's a piece. It reminds me vaguely of tilapia, which is a very common fish you see served at all kinds of restaurants, really. And it's a clean, muddy taste, if that makes any sense. It's not tremendously muddy, but it's not clean like trout would be, for example. It has a slightly muddied flavor about it. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, the muddiness might be a 3 or 4 at best, and then the rest of it is kind of clean, fleshy flavor. But the sweet and sour sauce is not dialed up, like being very sweet and very sour. It's a very reserved, kind of gentle sweet and sourness. It seems like I need to flip over the pompano and to kind of work my way around the back side of it to get some more flesh. There is a really big spinal bone in the center of this thing. Oh, here it is. Oh, that back side is good. It's actually better than the front side because it has soaked up more of that sweet and sour sauce, so it really tamps down that muddiness. You know, that slight bit of muddiness, it really tamps down on it, having soaked in that little sweet and sour sauce. Okay, my next dish is pancit palabok, and this is a popular Filipino dish. In fact, I had some pancit palabok. Oh no, actually I thought it was pancit palabok, but a viewer informed me that what I ate on that prior episode, it was actually pancit malaban. I think that's how you pronounce it. It had a pork sauce rather than a shrimp sauce, and I was struggling to eat and perceive the shrimpy flavor, but it wasn't there, obviously, because it wasn't a pancit palabok. It was pancit malaban, but I didn't know that at the time. Oh, as I'm digging around this, I'm trying to get some of the noodles. It's a thick kind of cellophane noodle. It reminds me of the prior one I had. I'm thinking this is going to be shrimpy. Oh, here it is. Oh, let me chase that bite with the shrimp. Oh yeah. Oh, let me get some more. Oh, look at this. This is so thick. Wow, that's good. Supposedly, the difference between pancit palabok and pancit malaban, or malaban, is it? Malaban? No, malaban, is that pancit palabok has a thinner cellophane noodle, but this is thick. This is a really thick one. Again, it reminds me of those thick cellophane noodles they have in Korean cuisine, but it does have a shrimpy flavor. And it tastes really good, you know, chasing it with that little shrimp. Okay, let me make sure I get a bite with the chicharron topping. Wow. There's crumbled and bits of chicharron, pork crackling skin, I think, on top of the noodles, and intermingled into the sauce on top of the noodles. Wow. So not only do you get a porky flavor to contrast with the shrimpy flavor, but you have a textural contrast as well, because there's a crunchy factor in the chicharron topping, and it kind of really pairs well with the softness of the noodles. Okay, there's not a lime wedge in the box, but there is a lemon wedge. Let me squeeze some lemon onto the noodles and see how that is, how it affects the experience. Yeah, it brightens it up, cheers it up a little bit. I wouldn't say it's too dramatic, but again, it contrasts with some of that savoriness. Some of that acidity does kind of cut through some of that porkiness and some of that shrimpiness. Oh, here's an egg. There's eggs in here too, obviously, in the pancit palabok. Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. I didn't mention earlier, but the texture on the noodles is really good. It's al dente and not too hard, not too soft. Wow. This is really good. Oh, this is really good pancit palabok. Okay, the next thing is something I've never tried before. This next item, it's called mami. It's a noodle soup preparation. And so it's a pork broth, and it has pieces of pork in the soup. On top of noodles with, I noticed, it has, a boiled egg in there, and carrots and whatever, what else? And pork and noodles, and it's called mami. I guess, I think it's a Filipino dish that has a Chinese origin. I think that's what it is. Let me just try this broth, and, here it is. Ooh. Oh. It's a very light, gentle pork broth. I mean, it's not like a Japanese tonkatsu ramen broth. You know, it's not, I wouldn't describe it as boldly porky, you know, oily and like that. It's a very gentle flavor. It's a kind of a distant porkiness, and it has a cloudy appearance to it. Okay, let me agitate the noodles a little bit. Ooh, it reminds me, it's yellowish, so it reminds me of like egg noodles, something like that. Like Chinese egg noodles of some sort. Ooh. Oh. But the noodles here aren't roundish. They have a more flat characteristic, and so, oh, interesting. I don't eat noodles like this very much, because the wonton noodles that you might see in Cantonese and Hong Kong cuisine, those noodles tend to be round rather than flat, and these are more flat. Wow, but those noodles are good. The texture is spot on, and it's al dente, and wow, it's a really nice texture on those noodles. Oh, and you see me eating with a fork. I mean, usually when I'm eating noodle soups, I use a chopstick, but I know chopsticks aren't part of Filipino culture. So I hope I'm doing this right. I'm just using a fork to, and it's very efficient too, using the fork to eat the noodles. Oh, let me try some of this. Try some of this pork. Oh wow! I mean, the pork doesn't have a whole lot of like seasoned color about it. It's a very natural looking piece of pork, and it's very soft. Wow. Wow, that's good. And as I said earlier, there's an egg in the soup, in this noodle soup preparation. Oh, here it is. Hard-boiled egg. It's not soft and, you know, kind of runny like you might see in a ramen preparation. It's not like that. It's very firm because it's hard-boiled, and I would say it's good. It works. I mean, it doesn't have to be soft and runny. This isn't a bowl of ramen, for example. And, ooh, this is really a nice noodle soup preparation. It really is. Okay, my final item is dinuguan. Dinuguan. It's a pork stew, and the pork is prepared in a pork blood sauce. So I guess properly you could call it pork blood stew. I've had this before. I had it on a prior episode, and I remember the pork in the pork blood stew, the dinuguan, the majority of it was pork intestines, and it had a mildly porky, intestine-y kind of flavor to it. And this one I noticed is different. It doesn't have pork intestines in it. It just has lumps and pieces of pork in a very dark sauce, as is the case with dinuguan. Oh, here it is. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh. Oh. Let me get some more. Oh. Chase that bite with some rice. And so it has a chewiness and a bite to it. It is definitely not intestine pieces. And so you have a chewiness. It's more firm, what I'm saying, than the pork, for example, in the mami that I just had. And so it has a very savory sauce from the pork blood. I wouldn't say it has an irony taste to it. I mean, I wouldn't say that. But it has maybe a very, I would say very distant, maybe a very distant ironiness. I wouldn't say it's completely 100% absent, but there's a vinegariness to the pork blood sauce. Yeah, there's a vinegariness to it, and I would say that's the dominant sensation rather than the ironiness of it, which is much more distant. And I'm thinking back on the prior one I had on that previous episode. I think this is less sour, so this sourness that I'm tasting now is very precise. Let me put it that way. In other words, it's not too much and not too little. It's just right, is what I'm saying. Ooh, this is good. Oh, wow. You know, I don't know the origin of dinuguan, you know, what part of the Philippines it originated. I don't know. I don't have that information. But what strikes me about it, too, is how distinctive it is. It seems to be a very distinctive Filipino preparation. In other words, you know, you can't easily associate this with Chinese cuisine. I know Chinese cuisine has a very strong influence in Asia, and you can see the influence in the mami, for example. But in the dinuguan, you know, you don't see any Chinese, any obvious Chinese influence. This pork sauce made from pork blood is a very distinctive thing. You know, other cultures use pork blood, and they use it in cubes. You see, you know, pork blood cubes in Vietnamese soup preparations, for example, and you do find it in Chinese cuisine. But a sauce like this, a very dark sauce, and it's, you know, it's made out of pork blood. That's a very original kind of preparation, and I like that about this dish, because it really makes me feel like I'm eating something very distinctively Filipino, that is deeply part of the culture, that hasn't been necessarily influenced by its neighbors, you know, dramatically, or obviously anyway. You know, if it has any other, you know, influences from other groups and other countries, it could be, but I don't know what it is. And obviously, it doesn't seem that way just from looking at it and tasting it. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up my meal today with dessert. And the dessert is karaoke. And this is a dessert I had on a prior episode. Oh, here it is. Wow, look at this. It is really large. This seems larger. These balls seem larger than the one I had previously. I think there's some caramelized sugar on the outside, and these are like mochi-like in their texture. I remember really enjoying it last time, and let me try it. Oh, ooh. Wow. That is good. Oh my. That texture is spot on. It is so good. Chewy without being too chewy, firm without being too firm, soft without being too soft. Wow, that is good. Ooh. Oh, wow. Wow. That is excellent. That caramelized sugar on the outside is kind of hard. Very thin though, so it's not intrusive, it's not obstructive. It doesn't get in the way. It just provides a little bit of crackle on the exterior, and it's sweet but not too sweet. And so this is a really good counterpoint to that porkiness of the Dinh Guan. Wow, I mean, when you follow this up right after the Dinh Guan, it is so complimentary, and it kind of really just cleanses your palate, and it sets you off in the right way and in the right mood. it really sets you off and as a warm goodbye to the meal. Wow, this is what a dessert's supposed to do. Wow. Wow, that is excellent. Wow. Well, I've wrapped up my meal, and it's time to say goodbye on this episode. Thank you for joining me and watching all the way to the end. I appreciate it. And if you're new to my channel and you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing. I'm based in the Washington, D.C. area, the capital of the United States, and I generally feature mom and pop businesses, small takeout restaurants, informal dining, hole in the wall restaurants. That's the focus of my eating usually. And if you have a comment and you had an observation of some sort, if you want to educate me on something from this episode, please leave a comment in the comment section. I appreciate it. So thank you so much. I'll catch you on my next food adventure. Take care. Bye-bye.